Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. You know me, my name is Trent, and we got more stories from Reddit/IDontWorkHereLady coming your way. So you know how it goes, buckle in, because we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, I Don't Work Here, I Just Want to Play Warhammer. Hello folks, I just read about how my local Warhammer store is getting closed down due to COVID-19, and I got reminded of a story that happened about a year and a half ago. I just started playing Warhammer, painted up a nice little army, and met up with my friend Bob at my local store to play a round or two. Besides the store manager, Tina, all names changed because of reasons, Bob and I were the only people at the store. We set up the table for our game, had some banter, all was good. Tina needed to get something from the back room, so she would leave us alone for a minute. She knew Bob and me because we were regulars, and everyone here knows each other on a first-name basis, while we kept preparing our game. It was shortly after Tina disappeared that she would come in. I will call her Susan, because Karen is overused, and she didn't look like a typical Karen. And she came straight for Bob and me. We didn't pay her any attention, because it would happen occasionally that curious people would watch others play while waiting for service. The following conversation will be paraphrased from memory. She then started in this annoyed tone. "Excuse me, shouldn't you be servicing customers instead of playing games?" I look at her. "Ma'am, I don't work here, but somebody will be there for you in a minute." "BS," she said. "Why would you be here at this time?" It was somewhat midday on a work day. "If you don't work here." Hearing the commotion, Tina comes back and asks Susan what she needs help with. Susan says, "You can't help me, girl. Get your manager. I want this rude idiot," pointing at me, "fired." Tina has already had enough of this. "Ma'am, I am the manager of this store, and I do not approve of you harassing my customers. Calm down and tell me what you need or leave my store immediately." Susan, now with her full attention on Tina and poking her chest with a finger, "How dare you two?" And that's all she brought out before Tina grabs her wrist, pulls her into a police hold, and tells her, "Now, listen to me. I don't care who you think you are, but neither will I tolerate you harassing me or my customers. Nor are you allowed to touch me without my consent. You are banned from my store, and if I ever see you here again, I will call the police. Bob, would you please open the door?" After Bob opened the door, Susan was escorted out, and we all had a short moment of head shaking before going back to what we were doing. I apologize for any grammar or formatting mistakes. English isn't my first language, and I typed this out on my phone during lunch. Well, short, sweet, the Karen, or in this case Susan, got what they deserved, and all was well. So, good job. Hope your Warhammer game went well. Moving on, our next story is titled, I Really Don't Work for the Court. Background. I used to work for a large county, a busy one with almost 25,000 civil service employees in 70-plus departments, all in various offices spread out across 12-plus different large buildings. I was just one of many office minions. I did my job, mostly budgets for my one small office. It was years before I had a clue about what all those other offices did. However, occasionally, I would run into people who assumed that the county badge I wore meant I'd automatically know the details of whatever specific department they needed support from. The setting. On this occasion, I had to park in the very back of the massive employee parking lot, shared by two major county buildings. One building was the courthouse and its offices. The other was a large structure with a few dozen different county offices. I didn't work at either office. I was just headed to the large structure for finance training. I was still very new to the job, so I was a little more dressed up than most people. Slacks and nice shoes, trying to make a good impression everywhere. It was a busy area. Lots of people coming and going. So, when I saw the scruffy-looking guy on a sidewalk at the edge of the parking lot, I didn't think much of it. He looked slightly better than the homeless guys that wander nearby, so I assumed he was just someone else moving through the day, until I had this conversation. The cast is me, scruffy-looking guy, SLG, various onlookers who just made it more awkward. The conversation. I parked and opened my door, but sat in the car for a few seconds, making sure I had everything I needed. SLG walks up. "Hey." "Hey." I didn't respond. Didn't know he was talking to me. "Hey." "Hey." "Hello." At this point, I was getting out of my car and realized he was talking to me. I started to think he might be one of the homeless folks after all. I figured he'd ask for money next. I picked up my cup of caffeine and pulled my laptop bag out of the car. Hey. SLG started to walk towards me. Oh, hey. Hey, you work for the court. I shook my head while shouldering my bag. No, I don't. Sorry. I gave him a nod goodbye before I turned my back and walked away quickly, heading towards the county buildings. I had to get to training on time. I was only a little startled when SLG caught up with me and walked beside me, keeping in pace. People looking for public services in the wrong place is pretty common. I often had to point people in the right direction. It's okay, I just need to tell him something. I put on my helpful customer service voice and pointed towards the courthouse building. Sorry, I don't work there. You could talk with someone from the court. There's an info desk inside. Oh, come on, you work there, he said. I was still hurrying through the parking lot with SLG still keeping up. I really don't. I just need him to change up my lawyer. I kept walking, but I stared at him in surprise for a few seconds. At this point, I was wondering what he did to need a court-appointed lawyer. I was wondering if he was out on bail, and I really wondered who the hell approaches someone in a parking lot to request a change of attorney. No, he's an okay guy. He's just not doing things right. I need a new one. I kept walking, trying not to let the surprise and rising concern show on my face. Still baffled, he's talking to some random person in the parking lot about this. And still wondering what he did to need a court-appointed attorney. I'm so sorry, really. I don't. SLG continued to follow me. Come on, just help me out. It's your job. Me, now past the parking lot and trapped at a crossing light. The other people at the light were pretending not to listen in, but I saw people pause in scrolling their phones to furtively watch SLG and I. I really don't deal with that. You need to talk to the info desk at the courthouse. I'm talking with you. Can't you tell him? No, I don't work for the court. I don't know how you... Stop. Just stop. Don't try that. You got a badge. That doesn't mean I work for the court. Anyone who works for the county has a badge. I gestured towards the people around us, waiting at the crossing light, most with badges. They all looked away and suddenly became very busy with their phones again. SLG walked with me across the crosswalk and followed as I continued to the building. Stop playing. You work for the court, holding all the paperwork, dressed up and everything. Bet you're a lawyer. I'm not. You are, aren't you? No, You could be my new lawyer. I finally stopped on the sidewalk leading to the doors of the building, raising my voice, getting startled from the various people passing by. I work in budgets, not for the court. Not everyone with a badge works for the court. Huh? But you do work for the county. Yes. So you know people at the court. I sighed, but managed to pull most of the customer service voice back into place. I'm sorry, I don't. I really don't work with the courts at all, and I never have. I have zero information on how to get a new attorney. You really should go over there and talk to someone. That's what I would do. SLG stared at me, apparently finally comprehending. Huh. I started walking away again, pointing to the courthouse entrance we just passed. Just go through there to the info desk. SLG now standing still and calling after me. Okay. I walked away again, almost to the doors. I called back over my shoulder. Take care. SLG now yelling after me. Hey, well, can I get your number then? Most people were giving us strange looks at this point. I just looked back at him, then just shook my head in total disbelief and kept walking. Hey, I didn't kill anybody. I'm a good guy. Several people started slowing down to watch, my fellow office minions hoping for a little drama. I shook my head again, opened the door to the building, and hurried inside without responding. SLG now shouting from outside the door as it shut behind me. Well, F you then, you uppity chick. Epilogue. Security came to the door when he heard the yelling and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. Security stepped outside and SLG hurried away, but not towards the courthouse. My finance training was boring as it sounds. I never saw the guy again. Well, I mean, at least he finally got the memo, even though it took security guards getting to him first. Hopefully the training went well, despite how boring it was. I feel like getting followed by people on the street is something that we all have to deal with eventually, and it seems like this one could have gone a lot worse, so good on you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much once again for tuning into Life Stories. My name is Trent. You know how this thing works by now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way, and I hope to see you guys soon.